Good morning. Good morning. Please silence your cell phones. I'm Marty Saltzman, and on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I welcome you to USV with open arms. We pride ourselves on being open. Open minds, open hearts, openly caring, and openly non-judgmental. So join us on this beautiful day, and I think you will walk out of here today with a little more bounce in your steps. So what are we all about? You can start by reading our mission statement on the front of the order of service and our 8 principles, which are a recipe for good life, on the inside. You can also take a look at our land and labor statement on the back. It's our tradition to welcome first and second time visitors, or those of you who haven't been here for a while, and we ask you to stand and introduce yourself and tell us where you're from. So anyone over here?
Hi, my name's Rod Oldenburg. I'm from Tallahassee, visiting Dan.
Oh, nice.
My name is Bruce Grant. I'm from Brunswick, Maine, visiting Dan.
And Steve Ers from Tallahassee, Florida, visiting Dan.
I must editorialize. These guys are all long-term Unitarians, and they're the reason why I joined the Unitarian Church. So they owe me thousands and thousands of dollars. Because I just went there, and after the service, they came up and talked to me. They were friendly, like I was a person with some interest in value. Little did they know. They were friendly.
Welcome. Anyone else over here?
Hi, I'm Quetzal. I usually go to the downtown congregation, but I recently moved to Black Mountain.
Yay.
Yeah, I hope to be visiting Dan.
I'm sure I'll show you a good time. Anyone else over here? Okay, how about on this side?
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Danetta McCullum Weatherspoon, and I'm here from Madison, Mississippi. Wow. And I am meeting with my precious aunt, Maida Commerce. Glad to be here.
Good morning to you all. My name is Janelle Walden Ajiman, and I am from Asheville at the moment. I'm coming to support my good friend, Maida Commerce.
Yay.
I was here a year ago when she spoke as well.
Welcome back.
Okay, anyone else over here?
Hi, I'm Joanna Eiley. I'm from Asheville, and I'm also here to support my friend Maida, who I do exercise in the wide pool.
Anyone else? I think there was somebody else back there. No? Okay, hi Deb. Okay, if you'd like to know more about us or get signed up for our newsletter, please see our welcoming committee. They're in the back right now, and they're wearing orange name tags, and they'll answer any questions and get you signed up. Okay, I guess we're ready for announcements, of which I have a couple. First of all, we have Lost and Found in the portico. Please take your items. There's actually some nice stuff out there. If you don't take it, it's going to charity at some point. So probably a couple more weeks. So please take it if it's yours. Also, Jim Curlin will be out in the portico with a sign up for the Habitat for Humanity home build. So if you have, it's a great cause, and if you have any questions or just want to know more about it, Jim will explain it all to you. So, all right, let our service begin.
Good morning. Our opening words in chalice lighting today. We gather this hour to celebrate the many webs of connection that hold us. We remember the generations past and present, our parents, our grandparents, and all who shape the soil from which we grow. In the role of elder and the grandparent, we see the quiet power of love that has lived long enough to be patient. We honor those who anchor our families with stories, wisdom, and steady grace. And as we light the chalice this day, let us open our hearts to the gifts of each age and season in our lives together. So our opening hymn today is in the Teal hymnal. They're both from the Teal hymnal today. And it's number 1051, We Are.
If you're familiar with the women's singing ensemble Sweet Honey in the Rock, both of these songs come from there. And We Are, you repeat the first two lines and the last two lines. And then the rest you just hang on and try to follow it. So I'll just play the first two lines. You're welcome to stand if you would like to. I'll play those first two lines.
done. Well done. Our reading this morning is a short one, but it's powerful. I don't know who did this one. It's anonymous, but it is called The Hands That Hold Us. The hands of our grandparents are maps of time. They have planted seeds in gardens and in hearts. They have mended clothes and sometimes mended spirits. They have held us when we were small and held hope for us when we could not see our own way forward. Grandparents are the keepers of stories, not just the ones told aloud, but the ones lived quietly in the choices they made, the kindness they offered, the courage they carried. Today, we honor those who came before us, whose love stretches across generations, whose wisdom is a bridge between past and future. May we walk that bridge with gratitude, and may we too become good ancestors. It's now that time in the service where we invite you to share what's on your heart, the sorrows that we carry, the joys that we exalt. Please, the elements are here, the water is here, the stones if you want to drop a heaviness into the water, a candle if you'd like to light it. The time is now and the floor is yours.
chose for whatever reason not to come up today, please know that the stone I drop in the water now is a symbol of this congregation holding you in their loving care, their thoughts, their minds, and hearts and prayers. And now, as Reverend Michael always says, you know this place don't just run on good wishes, right? We bring our hard work and our love and our care for our community to this congregation and to this building every day, but it's with the help of all of you also that helps it keep going. So at this time, we'd like to take our offering. Thank you, everyone, for your generosity. And at this time, I would like to ask Anna Marcel de Hermanas to come forward. She's going to introduce our speaker.
Thank you. Lots of times I'm in the back with the children, so some of you don't see me much. So it's a very special occasion that I leave the children and come out here. And Maida is a special occasion. The speaker notes today start out with, Maida Commerce lives for the stories. She writes and performs her own and is committed to encouraging others to do the same. I'm one of the others, and I see some of you out there that are also the others who have been encouraged to use story medicine. And if you haven't used it, it's, as it says in the notes, she is a healer, not just a writer. Like, I'm not saying just a writer. I mean, all of us who are writers know that it is healing. But you take story medicine and it's healing to the nth degree. And I have learned from a master, and I'm still learning, and I'm delighted to say that I think introducing her is introducing kind of a book that has many, many chapters. And if you haven't read this, you should, because it introduced me to Maida in her fullness, and she's still doing that. I took a quote from that book, where she says, patient and wise, the story knows how much our survival and healing depend upon it. I give you the wise woman, Maida Commerce.
Thank you, Anna. You certainly have touched me this morning. I love to do this, even though it's hard. When I was a little girl, back in my home church, I used to sit and watch very carefully every move made by the home pastor. Every word, I wanted to hear every word he said. And I didn't understand, or it didn't connect in my brain that there was reason for that, and that one day I would understand it. You all welcome me whenever I come here, and I have grown from this experience, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to come and share. The Spirit woke me this morning at 4 a.m. Thank you. And I understood that the title, the Spirit is my editor, that the title, Letters to My Grandchildren, was inadequate. That the real message here is how to love all the way. We live in urgent times, and it is love that we're missing. The language, the awareness, the movement of love we miss. And so I came to tell you two stories. One about a friend of mine named Mahan, who is writing letters and turning them into printed books intended for his grandchildren when they come of age. The other is a story of someone whose life and story I only recently became aware of. And we'll put them side by side to see how they are similar and to see how they're different. Letters to my grandchildren. How to love all the way. I have two quotes to share. I am an apprentice to my own disappearance. Those are words of David White that Mahan quoted to me. And the second quote, history is not the past. History is the future. History is the present. And that one is by James Baldwin. I'm also standing on the vapors of my maybe second or third reread of Coelho's The Alchemist, which also leaves me in a place where I'm crying pretty easily. So who is a grandparent? In the West African village, a grandparent is held in high regard. A grandparent can look back and see that most of their life is now behind, already lived, rather than in front, waiting to be lived. Speaking in terms of quantity, they are finished with and may need patience for much of what occupies the time of most family members: achieving, acquiring, chasing, possessing, impressing. They know what enough is. They are content with their earned place of honor. Many elders live independently for as long as possible, and in those precious years we take delight in the quiet, the solitude, the peace of our days and nights, even when compared with those lonely days and nights. The grandparent has more resources, can bring more kindness, patience, love when visiting with the children. And I would probably add that that's because it's a visit. And it is temporary, and that they have had time to rest. What is your legacy to your grandchildren? How do you describe it with words? Is it something you have demonstrated through your life's work? Is it an example you leave with their memories? Or is it still in your dreams? Something you'd like to do and have not yet begun? Is it something you've started and have yet to finish? Can they point to you and see some possibility or even some gift in themselves, clearly inherited from you? Or just as important, does your life offer them a cautionary tale? Have you taught them by some of your choices or mistakes what not to do in life? None of us is perfect. In fact, I've learned that the pursuit of perfection is an exercise in wasted effort. Because in this realm, perfection is a state that only nature can perceive and reflect. Not for human consumption. Do not attempt perfection at home, humans. Such can be disastrous, especially while your children still seek your example and counsel. Believe me, your best, your honest effort is good enough. In fact, as the four agreements from the ancient Mayan culture teaches us, always do your best is fine enough, is your reasonable effort. Your best is good enough, Mr. Holland. Thank you. And so if we really are disappearing, what matters more? what we'll look like at 100, or whether in the winter of life we've fulfilled our earthly mission. What our letters to our grandparents, or will our letters to our grandchildren, help us to fully self-disclose, truly introduce ourselves to them after we're gone? What will we tell them? Will we paint a picture of the fine array of what we've amassed, or tell them how good we were? Will we tell them that we stood for something so well, so clearly, something that muddied the waters of the status quo so much that we got kicked out of certain exclusive spaces and gave up those gold cards? Will we tell them that we did our best to leave to them a world a little better than we found it? Now, about writing letters to his grandchildren, I asked my friend Mayhan a few questions. Tell me, what do you want to tell your grandchildren in your writings? So, I want to be an ancestor with a voice. So I write to leave my legacy behind. Between us, I want a relationship, not just a memory. It's more for them to have a sense of who I am, what I care about, what I want for them. And I want them to feel a connection with me, and that I am writing to say what I am. If you notice, he's saying here that the meaning, the spirit of his legacy comes from an abiding sense of relationship. That the relationships endures through the children's sense of him, what matters to him, his love, who he is. This sounds like real presence to me. Mayhan is a white man who has struggled, this I know about him, with the idea of an ancestor that lives. And I'm a living witness that that's the truth of this life, if we want it. He continues and goes deeper. A power of the elder is to bless from the story, from the example, from the love and the relationship, from the life and the wisdom of its harvest. I try to live into a call of the ancestors. I've got pictures of the ancestors to include my son on my walls. For me, Jesus is an ancestor with a voice. So it is relational that I'm talking about. And in it is the joy of writing to people you really love. I hope they're interested in what I am leaving behind. I have a foot in two worlds now, one in each. So being confined here and limited in what I do out in the world creates the space to begin to explore being an ancestor. Imagining what that's like. Introducing myself to my grandchildren, describing the place here in which I'm writing, then sharing some of my soul journey, and you become a sage who returns to the village after reflecting, Wisdom can come at any age, but the sage comes with one thing that you want to leave, the village. And so what I've come up with that's most crucial to leave them is relationship. That's the evolutionary pull of love. You love for your vision, your love for your vision. It's all about relationship in my heart. He continues. Another way to go back to the grandchildren is to be me and help them to get a sense of that for themselves. Demonstrate what it means to steward that space, to create something more than myself directly from myself. That's the gift. To enjoy it, to be the gift. I am in the flow of the evolution of life. And when he paused, I knew he had said more than a mouthful. And this kind of sharing comes from one whose life and times, wisdom, saging, and eldering are all mined and extracted from the gems he has gathered along the way. Such a rich sharing this was. My friend Mahan is now 90 years of age. I talked with my dear friend about this idea of leaving letters or a bound book because it's something I knew he is still working on. But that's not all. That writing also comes through or is wrapped around the West African spiritual teaching that elders are ancestors in training. Let me say more. You all do that every time I say that to you. So I'm going to open that up. Around the circle of life, if you would, imagine just an immense circle. Line down down the middle, across the middle. So we've got a big circle with 4 parts. So each of the 4 parts represents one season. Spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring and summer are the time when we celebrate the vibrant colors, fragrances, and beauty of new life and youthfulness. Then we have autumn and winter. The time for slowing down, resting, taking stock, storing food and energy. We grow, we blossom, we thin, we rest. As my grandmother said, when you get too thick, you have to thin out. There is an order, there is nourishment, there is beauty, there is harvest. There is a simple earth-based being, all bound up and tied into this evolutionary circle. As my Aunt Elisa exclaims, we are the earth. From the unborn to the ancestors. All beings, everything that breathes, everything from the invisible creatures to the insects, to the plants, the birds, the reptiles, mammals, and to the stones, all live somewhere around this circle. journeying, moving, becoming, learning, giving, loving. We travel around it at our own pace, in our own way. We move, blossom, shed skin, provide food from our bodies or from our work. Until someday, at some moment, when we stop at last. Now, who is an ancestor in training? Mahan said right at the top, I want to be an ancestor. He is preparing himself in his conscious mind, seeing himself on the other side. This is reverse birth. Now, who is an ancestor in training? I'm taking a closer look at that winter season, pondering what it takes to be this ancestor in training, what that looks, feels, and sounds like. It's an experience where we have practically outgrown certain human habits: loneliness, fear, vanity. Because in actuality we are, as he said, disappearing, moving into translucence, traveling beyond the veil of time, transcending, becoming smaller in body, growing greater and stronger in spirit. I recently saw film footage from the home of Jimmy and Rosalind Carter in Plains, Georgia. Joe and Jill Biden were their guests. And to my surprise, as the Bidens stood in the living room of the Carters, each in their late 90s by then, they sat in high-backed chairs, and in stature, they appeared as little dolls, smiling for the camera. If ever there was a moment when pride was dead, this was it. Did anybody ever tell you that as an elder you could be doll-sized? As an ancestor in training? Everyone does this winter season in a way unique to them, but to me this was most surprising. In this place where many habits such as consuming, winning, hoarding, to the elders have lost their luster, perhaps with an abundance of forward thinking, even forgiveness and love. There is a yearning in your heart to soon and very soon rejoin the company of the ones who have gone before, those familiar beloveds in whose bosom the real truth hides and in whose arms is real comfort. But the words, imagine writing to your grandchildren from such a place in awareness, knowing that the children you know now at some future point are children no more as they read your words. So you freely tell them about the things, people, and places you love, the things in life that you found most important, most valuable, like purpose and relationship. Mahan said that in his life he learned that relationship matters more than any of the temporal, artificial things we have placed between us. Like James Baldwin proclaimed, no color, indeed, no religion matters more than the human being. He stood in the gap of this newfound awareness as a Southern Baptist pastor and applied it by publicly performing an LGBT wedding ceremony from the pulpit of the church in the 1980s, when and where it had never before been done. Such a stand at such a place on such principles cost him a price he willingly paid, and his grandchildren will know all about this when they read his letters, written with love, care, with a passion for living that they will someday perhaps see as part of their inheritance from their grandfather. And now for the second story. Everlasting. The life and legacy of Medgar Wiley Evers. Before I saw this documentary, I did not know the history of Medgar Evers. So the nature of the film about his life and work of this brilliant black man taught me that I needed to include it in what I share with you today. Because the silence being broken in this piece, the silence being broken for me in this piece was tremendous. Well, I knew his name and could recognize his picture, but I had never seen his children or heard them speak. And now imagining their children helps me to see him as a grandfather. And so I see that the Evers grandchildren will, and no doubt have, received letters, photographs, stories of their grandfather shared with them by their parents and grandmother. Too young at the age of 33 to be a grandparent, but even then, in the arms of his wife, Merle, Medgar proved his love for her and for their children, and said in so many words that he would willingly give his life for them to leave them a better world. This makes an ancestor in training of this young activist. I learned about his parents and his brothers and how his father taught them to be fearless. His father told them how to talk to white people, standing up straight, speaking truthfully and without fear. What a powerful principle to learn as a black child growing up in Jim Crow, Mississippi. I want y'all to answer me. Yes. Thank you. In 1961, he founded COFO, Council of Federated Organizations, bridging the gaps between the work of SCLC, SNCC, NAACP, and CORE. He and Merle said that they had received countless death threats during his years of activism, working alongside Dr. King, and for the NAACP establishing and organizing outposts throughout the state. And so as native Mississippians, knowing its history full well, knowing the plight of their people, knowing what to expect, grounded in their faith, they acknowledged this and promised each other they would stay on that path. She said that it was written in the skies and on their hearts that he would give his life to the movement, and that she would be left to take care of their children and to continue the work. Another way of being an ancestor in training is to work for the good of the whole, to yield to one's calling, to one's personal legend. Do you know your personal legend? Do you know the value of that, the essence of that to us in this world right now? If everybody in this room had that knowledge to grab a hold of and squeeze and keep and share, that's a revolution. Yes, it is. That's loving all the way. When I was a little girl, there was a song they would sing. When somebody loves you, it's no good unless they love you all the way. They don't make music like that today. Happy to be near you when you need someone to cheer you all the way. Can you love all the way from here? Another way is to live out the time that one has, with one foot in this realm and the other in the next. Noticing and naming the truth of what history is being made and proceeding anyway. Organizing the community to address it all anyway, as Medgar did, and without fear. Mississippi was the birthplace of this committed, well-groomed couple, having attended HBCU state schools. They sought to share in Mississippi's bounty and beauty, and it was their hope that someday their children would as well. But in 1963, Medgar met death one evening in his driveway, coming home after another long day's work. His legacy of peaceful courage, willing service, and dignified leadership is left for his children and grandchildren to inherit. Medgar's assassin was finally held to account and convicted in 1989. Some 26 years after his murder. And although this story reminds me of a song soon written by Nina Simone, the Evers family showed no rage, only sorrow, only strong resolve. And here these two men, born, coming of age, and living their lives in the American South, serving communities thirsty for leadership in ways and times when massive change was called for. One man white, a gifted Baptist pastor and teacher, living a full life with his family and in relative peace, choosing to write letters about his life, introducing himself to his grandchildren, speaking back to them from the next realm, to be read when they were old enough to understand, living a fully realized life of privilege, comfort, and curiosity, and with living space open enough to fill with his writing. And then, in the other America, lived the other man, black, a lay leader of the highest order, fully committed to his community, beset by the state-sanctioned brand of oppression and violence. He served his family as husband and father and his community as a true leader, laying down his life for his friends at the young age of 33. After having read the handwriting on the wall, Medgar Evers continued anyway. His body was received at the nation's capital by President Kennedy, given military honors for his service rendered in World War II, and then laid to rest at Arlington National Cemetery. As an ancestor in training with full awareness of the inevitable, he followed the example of many in prior generations of Black people, making the ultimate sacrifice for our survival and freedom. Finally, lest we forget, Medgar's was the first in a string of 7 highly visible assassinations in the span of 6 years, all during that chaotic decade of the 1960s. Today, Medgar is also an ancestor with a voice, having paved the way for us to follow, so that we come with fewer burdens and less weight on our heads. May we take note of their examples, their stories, their legacies, and love left planted for their descendants and for us all, for a better and healthier future. Ashe. Y'all better clap, because that was good. Thank you. I have a PS. It's brief, and it's a challenge. You members are sitting on a gold mine. And I'm about to point it out to you in a new way. You occupy, you embody, and you enliven a mission in an organization with which seems to me to have the least amount of dogma to get in your way. Say that. Violence is what plagues us today. Left, right, above, below. Violence. Violence is what stops the flow of love temporarily until we can realize love is our nature, love is our inheritance, love is ours, love is who we are. But while we're figuring that out, we can't take that spiritual bypass. We must go straight through. All of the isms that we have between us, that's what divides us. We have religious divisions, nationalism, what is it? Fundamentalist, Christian fundamentalist nationalism. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say those words. White Christian nationalist fundamentalism. Those isms are designed to keep us apart. Capitalism is designed to keep us apart. Gender oppression is designed to keep us apart. And certainly racism is designed to keep us apart. So if we can come together with an understanding of our oneness and our humanity and stand firm against these devices, seems to me you already have the structures in place to do your work. Ashe.
Well, I would say that truer closing words have never been spoken. Meta, do you have anything else, or are those your closing words?
I do. I have in my possession with me, my niece is here, first of all. I have 3 books. Everything I've written, I write from the depths of my heart. I want you to get my books.
Yeah.
Get them. I want to be sold out when I work. I don't just touch on it. I give it all that I have. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Well, if you'd like to rise as you are willing and able, we will sing our closing hymn, which is also in the teal hymnal, number 1001, and it's called Breaths.
In this one, Issei Barnwell set to music the poetry of a Senegalese poet named Birago Diop. And to me, you can hear the ancestors, especially at the end of the chorus where it goes,
Yes.
and I think that's the ancestors arriving. So I'm going to go from, I'll go through the part that says listen, that would be the chorus. Let me just play it for you. Those
Yes. Yes. Have a wonderful Sunday, everyone.